Hi everyone, and welcome to the Shala Online. Welcome to my morning practice. We are integrating the back line, so quite a lot of opening the back part of the body from the top of the head all the way down to the soles of the feet. But we'll do quite a lot of extension and flexion. So opening up front line, opening up back line, and getting to the point where, we created a full body practice at the end. So we'll start seated, please. You'll require 2 blocks and 1 foam or something equivalent. And we're going to start in Virasana. Now, I love this pose to start morning practice, where your thighs are slightly internally rotated, the knees draw in toward each other, and then your big toes kind of wrap around towards the sit bones, and then push your shins firmly into the ground and try and get your pelvis upright. And I'll just show you what I mean with that. So instead of the pelvis kind of sinking back, if you had water in the pelvic bowl, it would spill back, or pelvis tilting forward and the water would kind of spill out forward. You're trying to get your pelvis upright in space. And I find a combination of a little foam block and a wooden block, or 2 wooden blocks, or just lifting yourself a little higher can really be beneficial for getting those sit bones to feel like they are rooting down and the pelvis becoming stable and parallel on the earth. And then let's take our fingerprints, Haikini Mudra, to touch. Elbows out to the side. There wants to be a buoyancy in the armpits. Immediately, this will open up space in your lungs. And here, welcomes yourself onto your mat. Good morning to your own body. Left and right. Hands connected. Stimulating a sense of integration, harmony, and collaboration between the right and the left side of your body. On your next exhale, let's take the chin down towards the base of your throat. Then take a full circle to your right. Eyes stay open so the gaze and the chin are leading the movement to the left and all the way down to the base of your throat. And then change direction. Inhale, chin up. Exhale, around and down. Now keep changing direction. Keep the fingerprints connecting, the collarbones broadening, and draw your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Keeping an awareness of left and right side of your body at all time, and the integration between the two. You started by rotating to your right, so let's complete the rounds next time you go to your left. Come back to the center. Breathe freely, and then we'll slide the fingers into an interlace. Keep the gaze forward as you reach the arms above your head, and then try and widen out the collarbones, widen out the shoulders, wrapping the outer edges of your arms forward so the armpits hollow back underneath the shoulder sockets, and then reach just a little higher. Reach just a little higher. Soften your lower belly. Twisting left, keep the belly soft, really twist deeply from the right side of your spine. Split the hands, right hand, left thigh. Left hand can wrap around the outer right block and take you a little deeper. Press your shins down. Press the top of the feet down. Then let's take gaze over right shoulder, turning and twisting the neck. Good. Come back to the center. First, find Haikini Mudra. So right knee comes back in. You might even lift and lower. And just find that center again. Integration between left and right. Then slide to the opposite interlace, rotate your palms, but wrap your outer edges of the arms forward, lengthen through your belly. Twist right, allowing that left knee to come a little forward. Tone your sit bones toward each other. When you've gone as far as you can, split the hands, left hand, right thigh, and wrap your right hand around the outer left block. And turn and twist the gaze. Bring the gaze back to the left. Slowly release. Once more, an integrated point. Fingerprints touching, elbows out to the side. Take a last full breath in and out. Good. Rising onto your knees. Release the arms. And then take your wooden block and you can just place it to the opposite side of the front line of your mat. And then let's take our foam block and kneel on it. So you got that little bit of extra padding. Interlace the fingers behind your head. This is neutral with the armpits still wrapping forward. On your exhale, round your back, pulling the elbows towards the knees. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, arch the back. So we're going to pull the sit bones back, bring the elbows towards the ceiling and open up the front line. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, rounding forward. Keep going. And just notice what we said earlier about the pelvis, how you're curling that pelvis forward, right? That would be flexion. Then you come into neutral. And then when you go back, the sit bones pull back. And you're in that extension. So it's neutral and then flexion, neutral and then extension. And just notice what you're doing with the pelvis because that will be really helpful later on. Let's take 2 more rounds. Using the support of the hands at the back of the head to feel like you're gently rocking your brain. Come back to neutral. Take your arms out to the side. You're going to shift your weight to the left leg. Take the right leg out, so you're grounding it. Maybe it's on the floor, maybe you're sideways on your mat like me. Right hand to the thigh, reach the left arm up to really get high before you go across to the right. Right ear can come to the right shoulder. Now get these lower frontal ribs just to draw back gently. It's a small movement. So the spine is slightly rounded and you're opening up that lateral seam. Keep the legs as they are and switch the arms. Left hand all the way down to the floor. So take it slow. You could be on your fingertips or flat hand and that right arm will go across. Again, find those lower frontal ribs. Root your right foot and reach that right arm all the way over. To come out of this, come forward first. Right knee meets left knee. Rise all the way to kneeling. And then change sides. So you're shifting the weight to the right, the left leg goes down. Lower that hip. Left hand, left thigh, right arm up. First go for height, tone the buttocks, and then go for the lateral. Left ear, left shoulder. And breathe into this right side. Right morning time, we're going to open up ascending colon and here round your liver. And then change. Right hand down to the floor. Tone your buttocks, press the left foot into the ground, and then gently stretch that left arm away. To come out, go forward, and then slowly bringing your knees back onto the foam block. Rise to stand, reaching the arms all the way up. And then we'll go Uttanasana, heels, lift, sit bones to heels, and then you're rooting the heels down to the floor. Take your foam block and gently move it out of your way. Make sure your feet are parallel and just take a moment in Uttanasana. Soft lower belly lifts in and back. Okay, if you're not facing there already, face to the front line of your mat and place the hands and step back, down dog. Let's start with a bit of a bend in the knees. Hollow your belly and bring the sit bones towards the back of the knees. And you might notice, okay, that lifts the lower belly a little bit more. Inhale, rock forward, keeping the knees bent and touch them simultaneously to the floor. Exhale, lift up and move back into downward dog, sinking the heels to the ground. Inhale, rock forward. Bring the sit bones forward. See if you can not touch the knees to the ground. Lift and then bring it back. Take 2 more like that. Take it slow. Heel in line with the back of the knee, in line with the sit bone, and the hands firming into the ground. Last one. Good. Lower the knees to the floor. Then take one of your blocks and place it between your thighs, close towards the pubic area. Now we just want to get an imprint here. So we'll bring the knees a little closer together. Get an imprint of the block between the thighs that's going to activate your core line. And then go into cat-cow. So the inhale, as you roll the sit bones away from each other, try and pull them apart. Keep the block, but you're opening up into extension. And then flip your feet and round your back and guide the block towards the forehead as you exhale. Inhale, curling your toes under. Extending the spine, opening through the center chest. And then exhale, rounding, pushing the ground away. Let's do 2 more rounds. Feeling the block between your thighs as a deep core connector. Very nice when we're looking at backline activation. Backline length. Let's go 1 more round. And now on your exhale, let's keep the toes curled under. Take the flexion in your spine, but lift your knees and see if you can find down dog with a block between your thighs. Then you notice the hands and you notice your feet. And you curl the block slightly forward to lift your lower belly. Wrap the outer edges of your arms back and then lengthen the front line and the back line simultaneously. Good. Lower the knees to the floor. Square the shoulders. Keep the block and now go into full pelvic rotation. So I'm including cat-cow and the little lateral seams that we've already opened. And I've got the block between my thighs, which is really nice to find that midline connection. We're looking at integration of right and left. It's from the midline. And change the direction of the movements. Gently pressing the inner thighs into the block. Such a nice way to align your pelvis. Stay with it. Okay, last full round. Come back into down dog. Keep the block for now. And just take 3 full breaths, gently firming the block between your thighs. Curling the sit bones towards the back of the knees, back of the heels, and then lifting through the front line as the back line opens. The end of the 3rd breath, lower your knees. Take the block out with one hand and bring it back to the front first third of your mat. And then let's step your right leg forward. Take your foam block and place it underneath the left knee. Rise. Reach the hands behind the head like we did earlier. And then come into flexion in your lower back. So I'm going to pull back,
bringing the hips all the way above the left knee, rounding the back as if I had the block between the thighs. This is going to be my inhale breath. On my exhale, I'm going to low lunge it, pulling the sit bones apart and opening up the chest into the back bend. And then you'll come, inhale, pull back, widen out your back mid-ribs. Exhale, pulse forward, emptying the breath, lifting the diaphragm. 2 more. Curl the sit bones forward. Find that imaginary block between your thighs, and then you opening up into the back bend. Last one. As you exhale and sink into the back bend now, let's hold for a few breaths. Use your thumbs to slide right onto that occipital ridge, holding the back of your brain. Squeeze the heel of the hands into the side of the head, and then arch your spine back. Good, slowly release. Reach for your 2 blocks, place them on their highest setting, and then round your back, bring your pelvis over your knee again. Turn your right foot up, and then it's Ardha Hanuman. But now notice the rounding in your lower back. Try and exaggerate that, but walk your blocks forward so you keep elongating the center chest. Round your lower back, curl your sit bone towards the heel, and then walk your chest forward. Walk your blocks forward, drawing your nose towards the inside of the right shin. Soft belly lifted in and back. Almost like you're drawing the sit bone toward each other, and really curl them forward, elongating that back line. Then spread your toes, press the ball of your foot slightly forward, and firm your right kneecap. Good, slowly release. Pop your blocks down. Step back, down dog. You might move your little foam block to the right. As you lower your right knee onto it, bring your left leg forward. Come into right angles, changing the interlace. Then round your lower back. Imagine you had a block between your thighs. This will be the inhale. On your exhale, widen the sit bones. Let your pelvis tilt forward. Inhale, round your back, pull back. Exhale, arch your back. Try and get the movement happening in the pelvis. Sit bones narrow on the inhale. They curl towards your tailbone. Sit bones widen on the exhale, encouraging the back bend. 2 more. Stay present in your body. Notice where your mind is. We want left and right to integrate, and a special awareness today in the back line. Now, in this back bend, notice how we're activating that back line. Gaze to the ceiling, elbow points to the ceiling, hollow your armpits and tone your outer right buttock. Release. Take your blocks onto their highest setting first. Pull the pelvis back over your right knee. Now round your lower back and curl the left toes up. Okay, so you've got to be really aware here that you're finding that flexion in the lower back, hollowing your belly. Then lengthen your chest and walk your blocks forward. Later on we'll find this in a standing balance. But for now, just notice all the different aspects of this pose. Find that imaginary block between the thighs, and then draw it forward as you lengthen the chest forward. Good. Slowly release. Take the blocks off your mat. We're going to lift the right knee, then take one foot and just softly release the block off your mat and move it into down dog. Rock forward, knees onto the floor, touch. Rock back, down dog. Right leg forward, same thing, but this time we're going to keep the left knee off the ground. Bend it, rise up, find that same interlace behind the head, curl the left knee forward, and this again will be your inhale, but if you'd like, you can try and touch the left knee to the floor. On the exhale, straighten the left leg. Notice how it tilts the pelvis forward, take the back bend. Inhale, bend the left knee a lot, rounding lower back, middle back, maybe the left knee touches the floor, and then straighten that left leg and tilt back. 2 more. Inhale, almost like a cat stretch. Exhale, the widening, the opening, pulling back. Last one. And then this time we hold. So you open up through your lower back. Lengthen your front body. Elbows to the ceiling. Pause Vottanasana. Today, we're going to keep that left heel off the ground. So notice your blocks are right there. Let's bring them to the higher setting. Shift the pelvis back like you did for Ardha Hanuman. You're going to bend that left knee, your back leg, right? Bend it and round your lower back like you did earlier. Keep the right leg straight and walk your hands forward. Walk your blocks forward. Elongate. And then if it's working for you, you can straighten out the left leg, straighten out the right leg, keep the pelvis facing forward, and dip your chest a little closer to the inside right leg. Remember to keep curling the sit bone slightly forward. Lift the lower belly, soften your face. Warrior 3, right knee bends. Raising the left leg, now round your back. Option to stay here with the hands on the blocks. Option to float the hands to your heart. Or some of us will take the full variation with the arms stretching forward. Now find that slight rounding in your lower back. I know it's hard. Keep that as core connector. Find the imaginary block between your thighs and then extend the left leg back and the arms forward. 1 more. Stay with me. Good. We're going to release. Take your blocks out your way. Place the hands. Raise the right heel. And see if you can keep your lower back rounded and float back into high plank. So you're going to lift. Both legs land. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Left leg steps forward. High crescent lunge. Change the interlace in the fingers. Place them behind your head. Round your lower back. Bend your right knee. See if you can touch it to the floor. Inhale. On the exhale, raise the right leg. Straighten out that leg and tilt your pelvis into a back bend. Inhale, bend. Round, touch. Exhale, straighten. Open up the pelvis and look up to the ceiling. 2 more. Big movements, repetitive movements that we've done again and again. On our last one, we're going to hold, tilting the pelvis forward, elbows up to the ceiling, stretch your belly. Good, and then release. Place the hands onto the high blocks. Let's bend your right knee, curl your sit bones forward, straighten out the left leg, and then ease space into your chest. Check that your feet are hip-width apart, parallel to each other. Then those who want to, straighten out that right leg and walk your blocks forward. Noticing if you had a block between your thighs, where would it go? And can you keep curling it forward, lengthening the center chest, and maybe dipping yourself to the inside of the left shin. Good. Bending the left knee. Warrior 3, walk your blocks forward, give yourself some space. Find that imaginary block between your thighs, curl your sit bones slightly down, and then raise the right leg. Hands can stay where they are or come to the heart or extend forward. Wrap your outer right hip down. Lift through your lower belly. Good. Hands to the floor. And then see if you can float back. Find high plank to chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. All the way back. Walk your feet towards your hands. Take your feet hip-width apart. And then open up the whole back line in a simple Uttanasana. Fingerprints, you can be on your fingerprints or your flat palms. Take the hands to the outside edges of your feet. And then round your lower back, just like you were doing, to lift your lower belly and then creep the forehead a little closer to the shins. One full breath here. And then we're going to bend the knees. Take hold of your blocks en route and then roll all the way down onto your spine. Bring your knees towards your chest. Press down through the mid-back. Keep your right leg and extend the left leg forward. Extend your right leg, Supta Padangusthasana, up towards the ceiling, interlacing behind your thigh. Maybe your calf. Some of you might even get your heel. Find your midline, crown to tailbone, and then open up the full back line with both legs, opening up the back of your knees. Last couple of breaths. Let's lift the forehead towards your right shin. You're in a good place just to keep sure that you're on your mid-track. And open up that back line fully. Okay, to release, head to the floor. Bend your right knee, squeeze that in. Keep that, bring your left leg in. Change the interlace. Right leg, first straighten it forward. Press your mid-spine into the floor. Then straighten out the left leg without lifting your head at first. You could interlace back thigh, calf, or heel. Widen out the collarbones. I love being on the floor for my back line because I can use the floor to push the shoulder blades into. And then curl your toes back. Try and stretch the legs. Really open up that back seam of the body. Last few breaths. Press your mid-spine into the ground. Lift the forehead. Soft belly draws in and back. Head to the floor. Both knees to the chest. Squeeze them in. And then let's do that in the double. So try and keep your lower back grounded. Extend both legs to ceiling. Flex both feet. Take the hands to the back of the thighs, the calf muscles, or the outer edges of your feet. Now try and keep your sacrum on the floor and just open up the calf muscles. Quite nice even here to take the hands on the toes. Remember we spoke about that back line starting really at the forehead, wrapping around the back of your head, around the length of your back, buttock, back of the legs, and into the soles of your feet. Then let's take the feet wide. Option to have your knees bent. Option to have the hands on the outside edges of your feet. Option to have your hands on your feet themselves. Open up that inner line of the leg. Right leg over left, bending the knees, Gomukhasana. Now we're going to raise the chest, take hold of the outer shin, and then let the head release back. Right leg, the right outer hip wraps forward, and then just widen out your sacrum. Release. Straighten the legs once again. Take the hands to the back thigh, calf muscle, heel. This time, lift your head. You can lift your buttocks a little bit, but try and keep your mid-back firmly rooted on the floor. Lower the head, take the legs wide. Notice how you can support the legs. Try and press your lower back onto the floor. Oh, so nice. Such a beautiful pose. And then bend the knees left over right. Round your back. Take the outer edges of your feet or your shins, pull them apart, and then lower the head down to the ground again. Good. Last time, release the legs. Extend the legs up towards the ceiling. Bring your nose towards your shins. Good. Release the feet. Take your pelvis, lift it, and then take 2 blocks in a parallel setting, one under the other, onto your sacral plate. So you're not on the small of your back where it curves in, the lumbar. You're at that flat piece of the back rim of your pelvis. And now your pelvic bowl is parallel to the ceiling. Let's straighten out the legs. Keep the toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And then straighten out the arms, and you're opening up that front line and to a degree your back line. Front and back connecting. Keep your buttocks firm. Roll the inner thighs down. And then try and reach the hands a little bit further back so the whole belly opens up. Morning practice, allowing space in your large intestine just through the movement that we're providing. Walk your hands back. Walk your feet back. If you'd like to take 1 block out, feel free to do that. We're going to lift both legs and take supported shoulder stand where the feet come up to the ceiling. You're in a vertical plane. You got the sacral plate holding or being held by the blocks. Such a wonderful way to close morning practice. A nice stable way to practice shoulder stand. Notice how there's so little tension in the neck and the shoulders with this variation. Soft lower belly. Soft tongue in the jaw. Soft eyes in their sockets. Finish the round of breath you're on and take 3 more full rounds. At a quick glance, you want to check that your legs are symmetrical to each other from the midline. That even though you're relaxing, there's an awareness of your own alignment. And creating a lot of space, front and back body. At the end of the 3rd exhale, you'll bend your knees, ground the feet to the floor, raise your pelvis off the blocks, take the blocks out the way, and then lower your pelvis. I'm going to bring 1 block over your belly and 1 block in a T shape over your chest, wherever it's helpful for it to balance. Maybe it's solar plexus, maybe it's closer to your heart, you decide. And then let's keep the knees rolling in, so we open up the lower back, widen out the arms, turn the palms to face the ceiling. Then going into full yogic breath here, inhale to the belly, the block on the belly, so you feel that belly block rise. Then inhale mid-ribs, inhale upper ribs until you feel this upper block rise. And then when you exhaling, reverse the order from the upper block to the block on your belly. Using the blocks as a deep connection into the rhythm of your own breath. You want to keep still enough that the blocks don't fall from your body, but enough movement that you can feel the blocks rise and fall at the bottom of your exhale. Stay with me. Stay fully present in your body. Take 2 more breaths, just like this. Affirming to yourself, I'm integrated from my midline out. The whole back line of my body has been stimulated and open. And now I can lean into the length and the strength of that back line. At the end of your next exhale, start to move your feet and your toes. Heel-toeing your feet a little closer together so that your knees can split. Then take your 2 hands and remove the blocks carefully. Let's put the blocks to your right so that you can roll into a little fetal position on your left and just curl in on your back line again. So that whole back line that we've opened. Press your right hand into the floor and slowly come up. And then let's see if we can come into the same position that we started, Virasana. Maybe now you only need 1 little foam block sitting on your, into the sit bones to bring your pelvis upright. Full circle, bringing the fingerprints to touch Haikini Mudra. And then affirm to yourself, I am integrated and whole. Left and right side of my body in harmony, union, and collaboration. I start my day here, balanced, coordinated, from the inside through my practice. And draw your hands into your heart, into prayer, bowing your head. Namaste.